Enough with you, phone. Hi. All right, so I'm placing my hands on my heart, taking in that breath of love and gratitude. So grateful for this time to come together, to be the two or more gathered in the name and the nature of love. Grateful for this opportunity to breathe into our heart space, that space where there is peace, where there is quiet and stillness and clarity. Grateful for our willingness to shine away anything that looks like darkness, knowing that it really is nothing. We're grateful for all those who are gathered here now and all those who may listen later. May all of our teachers, both in the earthly and heavenly realms, join us now, surrounding and supporting us, leading and guiding us and blessing us, blessing the technology that we use to come together, allowing for a healing, insightful conversation. And we're grateful that we get to share the benefits of our own healing and expansion with everyone because we are one with them. In grace and divine gratitude, we let it be, and so it is. Amen. So good to see you all. So we are talking about chapter 17, section 7, the call for faith. Would anybody like to start? Phil, go for it, girl.
Thanks, Linda. Hi, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon. I'm so grateful to each one of you. And this section has brought up too many questions for me, and has been really. I got stuck right at the start, and I'm going to read it because I'm still there. The substitutes for aspects of the situation are the witnesses to your lack of faith that demonstrate that you did not believe the situation and the problem were in the same place. The problem was the lack of faith, and it is this you demonstrate when you remove it from its source and place it elsewhere. As a result, you do not see the problem. Had you not lacked faith that it could be solved, the problem would be gone and the situation would have been meaningful to you. And of course, it goes on. So one of the thoughts that came up for me, and I've been asking this question, and I would love all your support and your help. So could it be, as I wrote in pencil on my book, could it be my lack of faith and my belief that I am alone is what is meant here? That even I have difficulty in understanding my own thoughts here. So I'm believing that I am alone. So does that mean that is the lack of faith? And then it demonstrate that in action. So if I believe, or if I believe that I am not good enough or I am unworthy, that would be the lack of faith, right? And then it would demonstrate in my actions.
Yes, absolutely. Because if you're affirming, even if you're not affirming it out loud to yourself, that you are separate, alone, not good enough, not smart enough, whatever you are affirming within your heart about yourself, it's like there are no private thoughts. So it's going to be manifest out in the world. You're going to see evidence of it because your ego is trying to make you see it so that it can say, see, I was right. You're not smart enough. You're not good enough. You're not worthy enough.
So then my faith is shifted in my ego, and then ego is bringing all that up. Because for me, just shifting the problem elsewhere means like judging myself, blaming or self or others. And so the faith would be then, whatever happens is my ability to see the divine perfection in the imperfection.
Yes. So even when you notice that you are back in those thoughts, those judgmental thoughts of yourself, instead of judging yourself, going, oh, here I am again, go, okay, I can choose right now. I can put this on the altar now. Maybe it wasn't, I didn't leave it on the altar 5 minutes ago, but I can choose again right now to put it back on the altar and declare that I am done with it. And even if I pick it up 5 minutes later or 5 seconds later, I can still do it again and again and again. And eventually I will leave it there because I will be so tired of picking it back up again.
And if I'm getting you correctly, Linda, it also then means that whatever happens, whatever happen is for me to trust in faith that that was the divine plan, and not beat myself up or blame somebody else, like because it didn't meet my expectations. So meeting the expectation means I'm putting my faith in the expectation rather than what is.
Yep. Setting yourself up for failure.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. I do it all the time and I'm willing to let it go. But I know because I'm there, I'm there, judging myself for not being as helpful as I could with my mother, and finding myself going back into the judgments of, well, she should have taken better care of herself. I mean, it's, and that cycle can go on and on and on until I finally say, enough, let's move on. Okay, let's just be loving right now. First of all, to myself, because I can't be loving to anybody else if I'm not loving to myself first.
Okay, thank you. I'm not the special one.
No, you're just like me. I'm so sorry.
And I've been very judgmental on myself about not making progress with this whole process. And I'd kind of like to take this faith thing in a different direction. The other day I read this article, and it talked about how people are losing their faith in institutions. And I thought, that explains exactly what I'm going through. I just feel like I can't trust anything anymore. And I thought, well, so what if they don't trust institutions? And then I thought further, and I thought, well, it's the institutions that are like the glue that holds us together as a culture and as a society, if you think about it. I'm talking about education, the medical system, the government, and religion. So those would be the institutions. So, if our trust and faith in those is being destroyed at this point, which I think it is through lies and deception, what do we have to hold us together? And I think what we're seeing is the disintegration of that. And I think it's really something to think about that lack of faith in our institutions, because whether we think they're a bunch of boasters or what, we still need them on some level to hold us together. It's a common bond. So I'm going through, and I don't want to get in too much of a role, but I'm really going through this thing where, I don't trust any of this information. I don't trust the course. I don't trust what it's saying. I don't even believe there's a God today. I mean, that's how I feel. I don't feel like I have any indication that that exists. Then I go into my whole thing about, well, everybody just made up this big story to make themselves feel better. And that could be true, but if it's true, I still want the truth. I want what's true out of all this. And I want to know that I can turn on the news and trust what my government is saying. I mean, every day you hear a different story about what's real and what isn't real. I mean, how can anybody have trust in this when nothing you hear seems to fit reality? And, we hear that, they're not going to mint coins anymore. Well, that's okay, but aren't we being told this? Are we just the fodder for this? We just are supposed to keep plodding along, pay our taxes, put on our masks, muzzle our mouths, and shut up and not question anything. Why are people being treated like they're nothing? I mean, I don't know if I'm making any sense at all, but I think this lack of faith in institutions is profound, and I think, for me, it's hitting on a personal level. I just don't know what I believe anymore, or, all this, like, just say you're not a body. Well, you know what? That doesn't work for me, and I would say to somebody, go drag your body around for 4 years, not being able to move half of it, not being able to take care of yourself and go work and support yourself, and then tell me you're not a body. I mean, that just doesn't work for me anymore. It's just more of the bullshit. It's like a cliche.
Mm-hmm. And I get that, Deborah. I get that because I can see where there is a lot of distrust in the larger picture, so to say, in the institutions. But I also know that as individuals, there are good people in all of those institutions. And as long as I can believe that, and I can also believe that those people, the good people that are working in those institutions, are out there, and I can be connected with them because I too am working to be a loving, compassionate, honest, trustworthy, consistent being within myself. And the more that I am willing to be that within myself, the more I am going to attract those same types of people for myself. So,
well, I'm glad it works for you. I haven't been able to seem to attract them. I mean, this one church I tried to join and be part of, and 3 months now in, not one single one of them has called to even see if I'm still alive. I mean, it's hard to believe that they're good and they care. I mean, I don't see the indication of that. I'm the type of person that I have to, show me the money. I need to see it in reality, not just hear it or read it somewhere.
Yeah, and I can't give you the answers to that because all I know is that I have to do the work within myself first. I have to do the work within myself first. I have to let go of my own judgments about myself, where I'm seeing myself not be trustworthy, where I'm seeing myself not be loving and compassionate to myself, as well as to others. The places where I am seeing that within myself is the only place that I can work from. And I can't solve the problems of the world. I can only solve the problems that are within me. And then trust that as I'm doing my own work for my own stuff, that things will turn around, that I will trust and have faith that things will turn around. In the meantime, no matter what I'm seeing right in front of me, I'm going to continue to do my own work because I have had demonstrations where miracles have come from that.
Well, that's my problem. I haven't. I've had bad experience with churches, and I've been hit on the head. I've been called a liar, by the Catholic Church and all that stuff, and I just don't believe it anymore. And they all say, oh, just have faith and everything will work out. Well, really, it hasn't worked out so well. I'm sitting in the corner of this house. I can't go anywhere. I can't get outside. I can't drive. And I mean, I don't even have contact with people, so how am I supposed to go help people? I mean, then they say, oh, just reach out and do service work. Well, how? When you can't get anywhere. I mean, it just, all this applies to people who are mobile and can do things. I mean, I just don't get it. It's not working for me. That's all I can say. I've tried as hard as I can, and it's not working for me. And at some point, you just are beating your head against the wall, and you might as well just say, I give up. But I've tried that too, and what does that mean? Then I sit in this house and not have any food at all and die in here? I mean, and if I'm waiting for anybody to come help me, nobody does. The only ones that contact me are the people I pay to help me. I mean, there's something wrong with this picture.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I really do, Deborah. I know what you are working with is really hard. I also know that the people in this group have shown you a lot of compassion as much as they can.
I know that. I'm not asking for more, and I'm very appreciative of what they have given me. I look forward to this call every week because it helps keep me sane. I feel like I'm just about ready to lose it. I mean, there's got to be some resolution to this and some kind of ending to the pain.
Yeah. The only thing that I can tell you that has worked for me, and maybe others can speak to their own experiences, but I know when I get in that space where it's like, you know what? Fuck the world. And pardon my French, but I'm
there.
where I feel like that. You know what? This is bullshit. I'm ready to be done with all of it. And because I'm seeing and feeling the evidence, the energetic evidence of my thoughts, which are one complaint after another complaint after another complaint. And the only way that I can get myself out of that is to start focusing on the things that I'm grateful for. And it may be something super simple, like I opened my eyes this morning.
And I can get out of it for sometimes a couple hours or something, then I get flung right back into it. Right now I'm in the middle of the bullshit pond.
Yeah.
Or the dirty diaper, as Jennifer would say.
The dirty diaper, exactly. And that's what he was talking about in this very first paragraph that Phil was reading. You know, the problem was the lack of faith. And so I know that when I'm in that space, that I know that I'm in a lack of faith. I know that I'm the only one that can change my mind because it's my mind. And I know that I can do it because I've done it before. And I know you've done it before too, because you have sent me texts where you're like, I'm really starting to feel this.
But now, is that life? I mean, that's what we do. We just struggle from one bottom to the next. I mean, is that what this is all about? That's all we have to look forward to?
It feels that way sometimes, but you know what? The lows are only as low as the next high is going to be. Because we're dipping down to drag up all of the grit from the bottom of the pit. And we're bringing it to the light, and it's going to get easier. It is going to get easier. It is going to get easier. I know that because I've experienced it. And I know you have as well in certain moments.
I've had glimpses of it, but I don't think I have the intestinal fortitude to keep doing this. It just feels like I'm done. I'm digging as deep as I can, Lyndon. There's nothing left.
Well, all I can say is when you're in that space, please reach out for prayers. And if you don't mind, I would like to take a moment for all of us to just close our eyes and hold you in prayer in this very moment. Would you be okay with that?
Yes, I would. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So we're just going to breathe here. We're just going to breathe into our hearts. And we're just going to hold our precious sister, Deborah, in that loving, heart-centered space where there is compassion, where there's hope, where there's faith. Where there's trust that goodness exists in the world. where there's a knowing within that goodness exists within us. We're breathing in and holding our precious sister Deborah in our hearts. Just sending that loving, energetic light to flow through every cell, fiber, and function of her body and mind, to lighten her heavy load, to lift her spirits. We call upon every earthly and heavenly angel to surround and support her, to bring her any necessity that she is needing in this moment. To bring her peace and comfort and tenderness and kindness. We're so grateful that she is here and that we are getting to be this kind of loving spiritual support to her. Knowing that as our hearts and minds are going out into the world to support her, they are also going out into the world to bring those to her that will help support her in this physical realm. So that her appearance is lighter. And we're grateful that we get to share this blessed experience and healing of hearts, minds, and bodies with everyone because we are one with them. In divine gratitude, we say, and so it is. Amen.
So, Linda, I kind of have a question along those lines. You know, one of the things it talks about in this reading is about asking for your faith to be restored, which I do every day. I pray about that. But, you know, it seems like that's kind of an odd way to say it because I don't know that I've ever had a lot of faith. So I don't know if I have anything to be restored.
Well, it can be restored and it can be strengthened and grown as well. You know, it says that you only need the willingness of a mustard seed, the faith of a mustard seed, because that tiny mustard seed grows into this huge tree. So even if you only have that tiny bit of faith restored to you, the more you are willing to ask for that faith to be restored, the stronger and bigger it will grow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that part, and I'll just keep doing it and seeing what happens. I don't know what else to do. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I mean, I'm trying as hard as I know how to try.
I know, honey. I know.
But I think as human beings, even to have faith, we need some kind of something to build that on. I mean, I know about faith supposedly being a belief in things unseen, but you need a little bit of seeing to, at least I do, to, like, you know, am I healing or not? I don't know. I can't tell a difference from day to day because I can't see inside my head to see if the brain is healing.
Right.
So, you know, we need some kind of indicator. At least I do.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trusting, and I'm hoping that you will as well, that the prayers that we just made for you are going to bring you some evidence of a glimmer of hope that you can hang on to until the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
Well, thank you, and thank everybody for doing that. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, honey. Thank you for reaching out.
You know, I don't mean to sound like a whiner today, but I'm just being honest about how I'm feeling.
I get it. I understand. Some days it feels like you're at the bottom of the pit. and there's no way to climb out of it. I understand. Yeah. We're here to hold you up, honey.
Thanks, Linda.
You're welcome. Mary and then Lesley.
Yes. Hi, Linda. Hi, Deborah. Hi, everybody. Just by the way, before I share, I wanted to say I'm going by Mary Rose now to help identify it's me, because I found out there's more Marys besides me out here participating in these groups.
All right.
Deborah, what she said, I was just holding, not having to force it. I was just tuning in to the light within your beautiful spirit. I'm so happy you reached out. And I asked God, and I asked God angels, just guide me if there's anything that I could share in the spirit of sisterhood. I don't know if we ever have men here, sisterhood and familyhood, to support you. And I had some ideas float in that I just asked my angels to share through me, just to share what can be a possible hope and help for you today. It is my intention to tell you I see the light in you. In the 5D, I see it, I feel it. And so, yes, I'm just going to speak them. I say, angels, just speak it through me. Ego, move over. I guess the first thing that struck me was when you said, yes, coming to this group is a good spot of your life. And back, just trying to relate it efficiently, when I was able to attend Al-Anon meetings, when I lived in proximity to do that, I heard early on, when you're feeling bad, attend more than one a week. And it really, for me, it worked. I met other people it worked for too. So that was the first thought to share. I know there's more Course in Miracles groups besides this really wonderful group that we're in. That was one of the thoughts, just if you can, if any of this feels like it delights you or supports you, their ideas. And I know that has been a big thing since COVID. I have definitely been doing that over the phone and increased my groups. And it really helps because the lows related to COVID and the lows related to going through life and facing life challenges, yes, I see these groups, I see this group and the other groups I'm attending as definite lifelines. And then in that spirit, also the Sunday spirit sharing through the Power of Love Ministry, I know that for me is a lift, and we have small breakout groups as part of that, which feels to me very uplifting. And then also Jennifer's Sacred Circle. I haven't, I'm in Masterful Living. I attended Sacred Circle before Masterful Living, and I think, Linda, is this still right? That's still open to people. I don't even know, Deborah, if you're in Masterful Living.
She's not.
No, I'm not.
But yeah, it's $44 a month.
Yeah, and is that like a weekly meeting?
Yeah, four meetings a month. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's those are some ideas for things. And if you're into any of the 12 steps, I recently went to a Zoom Al-Anon meeting. I have another friend in 12 steps. I know there's a lot of Zoom meetings if any of the 12 steps have a connection for you. And I thought there was one more thing. Oh, the prayer thing. Yeah. I'm from Unity, and so I have for years connected with the Silent Unity, which is no charge. You just can call in and get prayer support, and also the Agape. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And you know what else? I recently tapped into, Deborah. I was guided to do the Unity Daily Word online subscription.
Yeah, I do.
They
too.
have. Oh, wonderful! Have you found that monthly meditation page where they have an archive of like 4 years of the little short 3-minute recorded meditations? They're archived, and you can search them, usually by topic or just by the list, and you can download them even.
I don't know if but I get the Daily Word every day and I read it.
Awesome. So I just wanted to share those have been resources for me. I hope that if, whatever is yours to follow, I know is your guidance. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate I've got to hear you sharing here prior to today also, and I feel your light. You have a gift of love that you share in this group. You are needed here. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you spoke up.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sweetie.
Yeah, thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Nice. Thank you. Lesley.
My pleasure.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say, and I know, Linda, you've already said it, that whenever I'm on the pain train, the fastest way I know to get off of it is gratitude. And it's one of those things that when you're on the pain train, it's the last thing you want to do. Your ego is just kicking and screaming. But as soon as, especially if I write it down, I just force myself to write down 10 things I'm grateful for, and then one more, and then one more. It's just amazing how that shifts that energy. That I find that to be really, really helpful. And I didn't hear about that coin thing, so that's news to me. I'm not big into news. I really, really find it energy sucking lately. And I hear you, Debbie. I mean, I don't know what to believe. So why listen to it? The other thing I was just thinking when you were talking as far as what would we do without all the institution holding us together? And I just thought, what would we do? I guess I've never thought about it, but I have to believe God would be in the center of it. Love would be in the center of it. And I loved what you said, Linda, that there are people in every institution that I can trust. And really, if you believe spirit is in every single person, then we can trust in all people. It's a deep learning for all of us, I know. Back to the reading, my favorite sentence in all this reading was paragraph 4, the first sentence. Only what you have not given can be lacking in any situation. And that's so true. When I feel disrespected, I'm not respecting the person either. If I'm not feeling love in a situation, I'm not giving love in that situation. How can I expect somebody to give me something that I'm not willing to give to them? And I just thought, wow, that's so true. And I know that. And sometimes it's funny when you look in that mirror and you just see that finger pointing back to yourself. It's like, oh man, I have to be 100% responsible for this. That sucks. But I'm willing. And then the other paragraph I liked was paragraph 8, just that first part. You think you hold against your brother what he has done to you, but what you really blame him for is what you did to him. It is not his past, but yours you hold against him. And again, that just says what I said earlier. So that's the parts that I really liked.
Yeah, thank you, Lesley. Martha.
Oops.
Thank you, Linda. Is Deborah still on? I ripped my rotator cuff, so I was pretty immobile, and it was COVID, and there was nothing I could do, and I'm a pretty active person, so I went into the same slump that Deborah did. And I tell you what, if it wasn't for everything that Masterful Living provided, I think I would have killed myself, because I was on Zoom calls. There was, Masterful Living breakout calls on Sunday. Then there was chakra, a chakra group on Saturdays, and every day was something. Then there was my Masterful Living kind of group on Friday, my little group. And the things I've learned from them was just, I just am so grateful for it. So I just want to add that I know where you're at, and this coronavirus is just, I just have to accept it. And it's kind of parallel what Jennifer said last night about the book, where, you just have to clean, zero limits. Just, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. So whatever this virus has brought up, I just have to say that. Whatever the administration I hear about, I have to say that, because it's not what they're doing, it's what I'm doing to me. I have, going back to the reading, and I liked what Phil read. The problem is lack of faith, and that's the problem in my life, is lack of faith. No matter whatever situation I go into, I do not have the faith to have the right outcome I believe in. And then the second one, there's no problem in any situation that faith will not solve. And I think one of the beliefs that I had growing up is that I have to work hard and do everything on my own. And really, and I just was writing about this today, I really just have to surrender everything. I don't even have to work. I just have to surrender everything and let God do everything. And, I can breathe again. I don't have to go back to school and do all this stuff. I don't have to write all this stuff. I just have to surrender. So I want to thank everybody for what they have said, because it's just, I learned so much from you. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Martha. Carla, go ahead.
Okay, I'm muted. And it's been working first time, great. So before I even read this, I was guided to these two things that I've been writing on Instagram. And so I want to go to what we read though, in the paragraph 3. And sometimes I pick out just part of the line, because that helps me focus on something. But I know it's, be careful of that, because you can, misconstrue it. But I feel like, anyhow, the line was in the third paragraph, the first part of the second line. If problems are perceived, and it goes into, thoughts are judged and all that stuff. And it's really what other people were sharing, maybe what I missed earlier, but I shared in the prayer group, but I'm going to share it here too. Every seeming problem has a solution. The solution is realizing there is no problem. The answer, if needed, is to let go of the belief that there is one, a problem. And I'll add, that's where faith comes in. Every seeming problem is that healing unfolding, a miracle in process. And I hadn't even read this, and so it really fits right in. And the other reading really aligns with paragraph 8, line 11, maybe 12, maybe more, but there is no situation that does not involve your whole relationship and every aspect incomplete and complete in every part. You can leave nothing outside of yourself, nothing of yourself outside, and keep the situation holy. And I realized that, of course, in the lessons it says, my holiness is my salvation or something. Like, so it seems like relationships need to be made into a holy relationship. But then I realized, this is what I wrote, every relationship is a holy relationship. They're all on a spectrum of development. It depends on where they are on the spectrum as to how they appear. And how we respond to the appearance shows us where we are on the spectrum. And so I'm just shown left and right in this, by reading this book, by sharing, by what people share, what I realized there is nothing. It seems like there's things that happen. It seems like I'm trying to get a loan. I gotta get my water heater tank. They said it can't come out for a month. And then I was like anxious. I realized I gotta pressure wash my house to clean it, so I rent it. I gotta, I have a whole list of things, and then I was getting really anxious, and I realized maybe I'll do the work, but the Holy Spirit, God is in charge. And so I just gave it up and be you in charge. And then I was prompted to call the people that said they couldn't come by for a month. And I said, well, he told me he could come by and do my under my sink thing. And she goes, oh, well, maybe he could probably double strap your water heater when he's there. And so it's just amazing. I thought there was a problem. And when I let go of thinking there's a problem and give it to God and just say, whatever, it's amazing how the situation did change that much. Maybe. Yeah, I don't even know if it's going to come out. She said maybe, I just know I feel more peaceful. I was putting ego in charge. I've done that for a long time, and I still do it. Whatever. It's so long. So that's my share. Thanks.
Thanks, Carla. Yep, demonstration of faith right there. Absolutely. Yeah, and I love that in paragraph 8, the very beginning of paragraph 8, where he says, actually paragraph 7, I'm going to start in paragraph 7, where he says, the power set in you, in whom the Holy Spirit's goal has been established, is so far beyond your little conception of the infinite that you have no idea how great the strength that goes with you. And you can use this in perfect safety. So we have infinite power. We have infinite power, but we judge ourselves and we are taking our own power away from ourselves. And then in paragraph 8, yet think on this and learn the cause of faithlessness. You think you hold against your brother what he has done to you, but what you really blame him for is what you did to him. It is not his past, but yours you hold against him. You are as innocent of what you were as he is. And that's exactly what Carla was talking about. There is no problem. We're creating the problem in our mind. There is no problem. Lesley.
Just a quick comment on that. I remember when I first met my husband Scott. I think it was our first date. It might have been the second date, but we were talking about something about problems, and he's like, and I'm sorry, I might have already shared this with you guys, but he was like, "There's no problems," and I was like, "What do you mean there's no problems? There's problems in the world. You know, this is like 25 years ago." And he's like, "Nah." He's like, "The small problems you don't worry about, and the big ones you just let Big G take care of." And I love how he called God Big G. Just let God take care of the big problems and don't worry about the little ones. And he's the most laid back, faithful person I know. And it's the 25th, July 25th will be his 1-year anniversary when he had his perforated colon. And he has just taught me so much as far as that 6 months of having a colostomy and the 6 months of having the repair. And he's just been amazing, and I know it's so much of it is his attitude. I mean, seriously, I'm not kidding you guys. The man has not complained once about it. Not even during the colostomy part. I mean, not once. Not even that he couldn't golf. And, you know, with all this COVID stuff, I was just like, in the beginning, I'm like, oh, he's going to, because I'm totally a sports widow. I mean, any baseball, basketball, hockey, football, you name it, golf, he watches it all. And it's just been, I'm like, okay, he's going to complain now. There's nothing to watch on TV, you know. Hasn't complained once. Not once. Just, I mean, he really is my greatest teacher. And he can drive me crazy sometimes. And he can really, I make him sound like a saint. And trust me, he is not. But he does have a lot of good things going for him. And I'm just amazed it's been a year. It feels like it was like 5 years ago or something. It seems like it was just like a distant memory that I don't even want to think about, you know, and I didn't even go through it. But I love what he says about problems. I just wanted to comment on that from what Carla said.
Thank you, Lesley. Go ahead, Carla.
I'm not so good at meeting, so I just in response to something you shared, and also what I shared, that everything is trying to show us the truth, you know. And some time ago, I was watching this movie called After Earth, and I'm like, why am I watching this? Holy Spirit, you know. And then it was okay, you know, but and then this one line, I'll read this. I kind of picked and choose, but and it dawned on me: fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in the thoughts of the past or the future. It is only a product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that at present and may never exist. Fear is a choice. We are telling ourselves a story, and that day, mine changed. I'm like, I watched the whole movie for that. So I don't know what I want to share, but thank you.
Thank you, Carla. Worth it. Robyn.
Well, what I'm experiencing after all these years of this wonderful teaching and repetition, which the Course says you need a lot of repetition, and that's what you're going to get when you read this book. And I say that because you feel like you know it intellectually. I mean, I can talk it so beautifully. Well, I don't know if yes, I can talk it so beautifully. And yet, you know, and there's the buts and the yets. So what I've been experiencing is that I've actually chosen, I know all about the negative thoughts and the false beliefs, the judgment, the blame, and the shame. I know all of that is untrue. All the negative ideas, the thoughts and false beliefs, the shame and the blame, every negative concept, I have learned, I believe, is untrue. But if I stay there and our brain stays there, or our mind, brain and mind, and you don't stop it, you will just be on that train that's going to be, or me, I'm learning to really take action. And when I notice I'm in those unloving thoughts, I quickly say, I'm not doing this anymore. This is making me unhappy. This is making me miserable. I mean, the depths of, I'm going to quit. I can't do this. I mean, just in really powerful despair in my life that I've made up. Actually, I've got a pretty sweet life. And I'm like, what is the matter with you? But, and I mean, it hasn't, it's been because of the work that I've done. So don't give up on the work, anybody, because every day I'm gonna I'm giving up, but I don't. And I keep going, and I'm starting to wake up, or there's some kind of shift. And I'm talking too much, but what I'm really trying to get at is this, what I'm experiencing and what I'm experimenting with is when I get upset or triggered, there's a problem arises. And instead of going deep down in the hole or getting on the pain train, I say, that's not true. I'm not going to focus on the problem. I can see the world is going to hell in a handbasket. I'm going to center on spirit and me. That's all I can do. And I'm not even going to listen anymore because it takes me down. It takes my energy down, and I'm going right there. And I'm like, I don't even know if it's true. So why would I even invest in listening to it? So for me, that's helpful, not to listen to all these things and look for the truth in it. I can only turn inward. So what I'm experiencing is these little, I call them stories. Something happens, I get triggered, and then in the middle part, I say, I'm not going to keep those negative thoughts. I'm not going to go forward and make up this story and get in this drama. I'm going to think about spirit. I'm turning it over. Thank you so much for everything, even this, because I know it's for my healing and my good, which I used to say, what? But now I see the challenges not as blocks, but as opportunities for forgiveness and love to me. And so sometimes I have to, and I really have to be vigilant and hold on to, I'm only thinking loving thoughts. I'm breathing in love, and I'm breathing it out. I'm being in gratitude. I am waiting. I know that spirit only wants the best and highest, and it will be taken care of. And I mean, it's really walking in this unknown place and just saying, nope, don't send that email. Nope, don't make that phone call. Nope. Because I don't really know. And it's bringing love to every moment that I can. And then the blessing, and I think I'll never be connected to God again, because right now I feel as separate as I can be because I don't know, but I keep holding on to the loving thoughts. And then these little beautiful miracles, these glimpses of heaven come forward, and it brings me quiet joy. It's just, and it's neutral, but it's not inside I feel like, what are those things that the fireworks bursting? And fireworks is not such a great word, but it just feels that the results of the fireworks, that sparkle and that joy. So I'm practicing noticing the things that upset me. And instead of going into that story, I'm really working on staying positive, keeping my energy up, even if I can feel a little twang of, I'm just like, I'm going to respond in a positive way to what's happening in my environment. And I feel that as I practice this, the goal is to have it become effortless. I know there is, if I don't focus on the form and on the physical world, and I come into the invisible, there is an effortlessness, a neutrality. And I mean, it's starting to work. It's like, I know God is going to fix this for me, because I'm saying more and more, dear God, I can't, I'm handing this over. I know that you are a loving God and all is well. And I'm saying that a lot. So thank you for listening to me. It takes a while for me to share. I'm sorry, but I'm really excited, and I just want to share so badly. And things are not perfect, but I can feel a shift. That's what I'll say, that I'm feeling a shift. Thank you.
That's beautiful, Robyn. Thank you. Thank you.
And I think I have another, I want to offer another story you can let go of. And that's that you're speaking too much, that you're going on too long. So thank you for speaking.
Thanks, Carla.
All right. Anybody who hasn't shared yet like to share anything before we close out? Go ahead, Linda.
Let me get unmuted. I just, from the reading, you know, the kickoff line for me is, the situation and the problem were in the same place, you know, back to, I could have had a miracle, you know, my solution and my problem is just ultimately located in the same spot. And the shift is choose again, bottom line. You know, if I can like catch it right there, all is well. The other thing is too, I was thinking about from a macrocosmic and a microcosmic level. I keep things pretty simple and simplistic. My little inner child likes to look at this as like, you know, I came to planet Earth, there's a curriculum, you know, and I have my little book and it has a syllabus and I turn a page and this is my assignment for today, and it's guaranteed to be challenging and upsetting and uniquely useful to me in my work of forgiveness, because that's really always my only function. So I wear Psychoplanet pretty loosely. You know, I love that lesson that talks about there's nothing in this world that I want. And then the next lesson is, but there is something that there is a place of something that I want. And then there's a third part of that series of lessons. So I just don't put much stock in what I see, other than it's all designed to be uniquely useful to get me to the next place. And it's all emanating from here, and it's just kind of like shadowy aspects, like this read is really talking about. You know, it's not about my brother. My brother is me. You know what I mean? There's nobody out there, really. It does not mean I don't, you know, navigate this and be normal, because I do seemingly see the bodies out there doing what they're doing. But I think they're for my benefit, really. And that doesn't, you know, to some people, I think that would sound like really depressing, like, oh, what a hopeless perception of the world or whatever. But I don't experience it that way. I mean, it just seems like it's really and truly right on time, all day long, every instant. There's an opportunity to have a holy instant, you know, and it all comes back to me, you know, choose once again. And it makes my life feel really meaningful, truly. And I think I'm probably more pleasant to be around. You know what I'm saying? And it's making the passage through this cycle of life experience far more enjoyable and gentle. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Linda. So I will close, or I will mention, because Phil said an example of paragraph 2, line 4, which is it not possible that all of your problems have been solved, but you've removed yourself from the solution? I don't know that I can give an example, but my understanding of that is like where I can be in the middle of something that I am seeing as a problem, as a challenge, where I'm feeling that, this is a problem. I don't want to deal with it. But then I can switch my thoughts. I can change my mind and realize, like what Linda was saying, this is just part of my curriculum, and part of it's going to be hard and part of it's going to be easy. And, you know, when I can open my eyes to see that it's just my curriculum, then I can let go of the resistance to it. I can let go of the pushing against it or thinking it should be different, and see it as the blessing that it is here to teach me to be. So I hope that helps. So good. All right. So next week, continuing in chapter 17, we're going to do section 8, which is the last section, the conditions of peace. And I'm going to read from Pathways of Light, Insights for Lesson 203, which is actually a review. And the concept is, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And the lesson is number 183, I call upon God's name and on my own. I call upon God's name and on my own is another way of reminding me I am not a body. If my name is the same as God's name, then I must share the same characteristics as God. God is not a body, so I must not be a body. God is innocent and wholly loving, so I must be innocent and wholly loving. To call upon God's name is to remind me of my source and what I am. God has no fear, so fear must be alien to me as well. God does not condemn, and so I must not condemn. Any image I believe about myself that is different from this is a false image that limits me and blinds me to the truth about myself. To call upon God's name is to open my mind to receive the truth of what I am. This is what I truly desire at the core of my being. I truly want to remember what I am. This self God created is where I find comfort and peace. It is the part of me that remembers God's name is my own, along with all my brothers. It is the part of me that sees only unity and therefore is perfectly safe always. Holy Spirit, help me see with the vision of myself. Help me see the loving innocence of my brothers so I may recognize it in myself. Today, I would receive your meaning for everything I look upon. Help me be the love I was created to be and see it everywhere. Help me answer every call for love with love, and thereby teach myself that only love is real. God is universal. God is the truth of all that is real. When I forget God, I am forgetting my source, my true identity. When I forget my source, I am dreaming a dream of being separate from what I truly am. The way out of this is to return to letting God back into my awareness. The way out of this is to be willing to wake up from the dream of separation. Anything other than God is a dream. That is why remembering God is my deliverance. I call upon God's name and on my own helps me remember the truth. There is nothing other than God. That truth is my safety and my joy. Remembering this truth is my salvation. I would remind myself of the truth frequently today. I would let my mind be healed of belief that anything other than God is real. This is how I rest in God today. This is how I wake up from the dream. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Much love to all.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome. Thank you. Love you all.
Love you.